Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Captain Dalian.
This is Eric, the Knucklehead Eaton. This week we've got a special guest host with us. Who are you, sir?
Don Alum, I'm Don.
Okay, we've got I'm Don with us. Now, you wear many different hats. You're involved with comic books, cosplay, conventions. What roles do you do?
Depends what day of the week it is.
Okay.
If I'm gearing up for a comic book sale, I'm always out looking for a good cover. I'm more of a cover guy. If con's coming up, I try to gear up with some of the vendors that are going to be out there to offer some services to them to help their tables and present themselves better.
Now, you do a lot of charity work as far as with your cosplaying groups, but then also you help conventions out, and you're intertied with a convention or two yourself as far as making banners, you do t-shirts, you do lanyards, basically anything that people want as far as advertise for their business, you can do.
Oh, for sure. We are definitely Green Country's comic source for conventions. We try to pride ourselves in being, the con source go-to for places, that you would be able to need stuff.
And that's the Nerd Alert Customs.
Nerd Alert Customs,
And
yes.
you guys have a Facebook page.
We sure do.
And people can just message it, get price quotes, anything they need from there.
Yeah, tablecloths, banners, backdrops, business cards, anything to be able to help promote. We even have a way to be able to get you prints of artwork that you do. I mean, it's really, really great one-shop stop.
Okay. Then you also do costuming groups. Do you guys have pages for that?
Yes, we do. We do. We have the DC Marvel League. We have 4 chapters, one here in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Joplin, and Northeast Arkansas now.
Okay, now with those costuming groups, what do you guys do as far as you guys meet together once a month, or what do you guys do?
It started out once a month, now about 6 times a month.
Okay.
We meet up for Make-A-Wish Cancer Treatment Center, St. Jude's.
Okay.
Hospital visits about every other weekend.
All
Take
right.
a couple characters go in.
And I know you all did something last Saturday. You had 2 events. One out at the Incredible Pizza in Tulsa.
Yes.
And then down at the ballpark.
Yes, we had one downtown, and it was a great walk for a charity event we had. It evades me right now which one, because we do so many of them they allow us to go to. And then we did another event over at Incredible Pizza for underprivileged, helping kids be able to read in school districts and stuff all over Tulsa.
Now, you guys, with your cosplay and your costuming, you guys are the real deal as far as you guys. Aren't you guys like approved? Like, I know some of your group is like with the 501st and the Mandalorian merch. A lot of your costumings has to be approved by like Lucasfilm or Star Wars, correct?
Yes, that's kind of a big deal when we're with the actual Tulsa Star Force, which hosts the 501st, Rebel Legion, and Mandalorian mercs. Those are usually LFL approved costumes. We put a lot of time, money, and effort into building those up.
Okay.
And those ones we do get large invites for some of the charities also. We just did a very large parade over south of Oklahoma City last weekend that they donated thousands of dollars last year.
Now, you with Nerd Alert and also with the costuming have made a shop where you guys the costumers can come over there. They can sew. If they don't know how to sew, you show them how to sew. You guys build up your gear, build up your costumes, correct?
Yes, that's Nerd Alert Academy. And we've got a shop currently open 3 days a week from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Tuesdays would be Star Wars night. Other than that, we do very large amounts Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays upon request, for invites. If you wanted to be able to have one-on-one time, we've got teachers in the shop that teach you how to sew. We do leather, foam, armor, guns, everything you can kind of think of to be able to help your costume along. And it's completely free.
Okay, very cool.
If you want to be able to come over to the shop and have an idea of a character, definitely bring like your works in progress. We call them whips, and reference material.
Okay.
We've got quite a bit going out right now. Wizard World's coming up.
Right.
So about 4 to 5 nights a week,
Okay.
I've got no less than 7 people grabbing a table, going over all the material they want and sewing up patterns and stuff. So it's really, really great to kind of see where we've blown up from when, we started.
Okay. And what made you get into all this?
My brother had gotten me a ticket for a one-man Star Wars show.
Okay.
This guy also does one-man.
That was the one several years ago down at the Performing Arts.
Yes, several years ago.
Yes.
And it was he also does like one-man Lord of the Rings. It's just no music. He does everything with his mouth.
Okay.
Very great dramatic artist. Well, I got a ticket and I went down there. As you go down into the foyer to where before you go into the actual stage and stuff, I'm just down there with my wife at the time, and I go down there and there's all these people my age and older dressed up like Star Wars characters, all different types. So I was just blown away, and I went and took my seat, and I'm watching all of them sit down, and I left there and talked with a couple of them, got a business card, shook some hands, got some pictures, and I left there like a child,
Right.
you know, and those same people now are like my closest friends in the Star Wars community. You know, they help teach at the shop, they offer advice, we do quite a bit of events with them and stuff. So it kind of started there, and it just one costume turned into two. And I'm sitting at a solid 5 or 6 right now and teaching other people kind of the same things. So it's more of me hosting the shop than me knowing everything about how to build everything in it.
Right.
That's why we have so many people that come over and help. So it's really, really great for the community.
So if a novice person, like, you know, I've mentioned once I wanted to do a kind of a pirate thing, you know. I mean, I've sewed like back in middle school.
Sure.
You know, but I mean, to make the armor, the stuff that you know, I wouldn't know how to do any of that. That you show how to make it and you can make it there.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, all different styles. Hard foam. We've got EVA. We've got, you know, craft foam, and then we get into some of the stuff like Sintra, which is like hard plastic. A lot of our Mandos use that. We use it for a lot of other props too. But it's like you come and show up, and we're able to get you started on the right track. Send you home with homework. Next time you come back, you know, we'll be ready to prime and paint. And so it's a real good time. Besides that, it's just like we've got music playing and everyone's asking questions, and it's just like falls into place of like you wanting to do something and you're uncomfortable, come to the shop. I mean, it's like everybody there is going to be willing to help you out. Some people that have never done anything before, they'll show up, and all the veterans that's been there, they're like, man, I never thought about that. That's a good idea. So everybody that's been there for a while jumps on board. You know, we had one lady come by last week, and like 4 of us were helping to get stuff ready because we do a massive amount of photo shoots all over Tulsa also with great photographers. Right. So if someone's got a good idea what they want to do, we're all like, okay, let's Holocaust. Let's try to get together. And everyone's trying to do, you know, Armageddon type, you know, stuff, cool. for whatever character they're trying to portray themselves at. So it's really great.
See, I found it, we went over there, my wife and I, at the other academy, and I thought it was pretty interesting that so many people that you had there were from all different walks of life, but they all got together and they were all doing the same thing. I mean, it's pretty neat, and we've had you guys, now you're tied in some with CollectorCon. We've had the costuming groups there at the show, and it's really crazy to see the looks not only from kids, but also the vendors and other adults that come there. You know, my grandpa loves taking pictures with Batman. So it's a lot of fun for kids of any age. You know, I mean, just because you're an adult by, you know, legal standards, you got that inner child that it's cool to take a picture next to Boba Fett or another Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, I've talked about doing the shows down in Dallas, you know, Dallas Fan Days for a long time, and Dallas Comic-Con before they sold it off. And I've seen that level of cosplay and everything, and just like you said, the kids and everything. And I'm glad y'all are doing the collector cons, you know, and everything, because Tulsa doesn't have a whole lot of cons to do that and show that. And I'm glad. So it's a lot of talented people.
So now you are full member with the Mandalorian merch. You're full member with 501st. You're full member with DC Marvel League. Now you come out as Bane. You come out as Mandalorian. You come out as I've
got a 501st
Imperial Guard.
501st pilot.
501st pilot.
Yeah, the chicken walker, the 2-legged.
Right.
One with
ATSTs.
Yes. High five, Eric. Yeah. I do that, and then I'm trying to rework on my second Jedi so I can get approved with the Rebel Legion.
Right.
For that one.
Now, which one do you like doing the most?
I kind of base it off like what the kids like.
Okay.
So
led to my next question. What are the kids?
When
you show up as a Jedi, are they happier to see a Jedi than they are seeing Stormtroopers?
The demographic I get the most high fives by people our age is when I do Bane.
Bane is
hitting parades. Adults will walk out and be like, "Dude, nice Bane." You know, high fives and stuff like that.
Do you do a Bane voice?
No, don't do the Bane
Mr.
voice.
Ratman.
It's not the voice. And then when I do the pilot, like when I ran into you at the Lego thing, the kids just lost it.
Yeah, now that was pretty cool. You guys, what was it, Lego Days?
Yeah.
No, Lego Universe. Brickmaster Universe.
Yeah.
That was a cool event, and they had you guys out for that. And you guys had the big backdrop. People could take pictures with you guys. You guys don't charge for the pictures, but I know at some places you guys sell prints, and all that goes to Make-A-Wish.
Oh, yeah.
Or goes to the St. Jude's and stuff like that, which is really cool. Now, you guys have done calendars, and Nerd Alert helps a lot with that on that end, the Nerd Alert Customs.
Yeah, with Nerd Alert, we're a consource.
Right.
So we do with our DC Marvel League, we will be able to do the table. We're basically the umbrella for quite a bit of corporations.
Okay.
You know, for that. So they can be able to come out and stuff. Nerd Alert will provide the tables, the backdrops, the banners, the league shirts. So whenever we go to an event, like a bowling event, that's just, you know, for the members or for people in the community that want to be able to come out and introduce themselves and stuff, we'll wear those shirts. And then we try to do, like with the 501st, kind of the same situation. You know, we try to provide handler shirts. If you don't happen to have a costume and you want to get in with some good people and to learn how to do it, they'll have like a handler shirt that Nerd handler provides, and it just says like the 501st on the front and handler on the back, so you're still be able with part of the group even though you don't have a costume. I myself, when I'm there to kind of like oversee everything, and I'm not in costume, I'll wear one of like our handler shirts or one that represents whatever group that I'm with, Nerd Alert. So that way I'm kind of still part of the group, and it really kind of makes it a really nice whole, all the way across.
I've noticed at more and more shows that I go to or see, you see more and more signs brought up about kind of an etiquette for cosplay. As far as for people that are viewing some of the cosplay artists or costumers, what do you find as far as how should people act around someone that's fully costumed if they want a picture? I know there's probably some inappropriate people that...
Well, this has come up several times at the last few conventions. It seems like that. I think it's...
It's one phrase.
Yeah, it's...
cosplay is not consent.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. I was trying to think of the wording. Yes.
Yeah, we're real strong on that. We'll get into that a little bit later also, is we have different people who've been doing it for 10 years, who've been doing it for 2 years.
Right.
They try to do characters that they really happen to enjoy that are going to be, fashionable or not fall apart. So they put a lot of time into them.
Yeah.
So when I happen to go to these events, we happen to have some members in the community and stuff that like feel that they are allowed to be able to take pictures and put their code of ethics off to the side, and it's like they're people too, or, our costumers and stuff want to be able to be held in the same respect.
So yeah, I've noticed with the costumers you work with, all the greatest people in the world will always be glad to take a picture. But, I would feel bad for especially some of the women, coming as Wonder Woman or Enchantress or, Slave Leia or anything like that. Some of the stuff that could be said or done to them.
You mentioned that. I had one of the few pictures when I've set up at the shows. Sometimes I'll get pictures. And Leia was dressed as Slave Leia, and her husband was as a Han Solo-ish kind of rogue smuggler. And I asked her, I was like, hey, can I get a picture? And she's like, yeah. I go, okay. Is it okay where I put my hand on here on the side? I mean, I asked him where it was okay. She was, because a hug kind of thing. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem, So, I mean, I guess basically if you ask up front, and ask where.
Remember, you come across somebody, and I'm still that way. I don't care how old I am. I happen to see someone, that's doing really great costume, and I'm just like, I do the same thing. I'm kind of like, can I get a picture with you? And they're like, you're Don. Of course you can get a picture with me. But I still do that. It's not respect. It's the fact of like, you're amazing. You know what I mean? So it's definitely, you build the one-on-one pretty quick. Right. Then you'll know where that comfort zone is. A lot of times they do like to be side by side. We've got some members that will, they'll cheek it up also because they like the fans,
right?
It's you have to have that back and forth, and if you can maintain that relationship within the first 2 seconds of meeting them, you'll know where you stand. With some of the ones like with some of the cons we've done before, costumers that are set up will be behind a table. They'll have prints for sale. They'll sign a print for you, and I've got some before I kind of got into a lot of this. Where they'll sign a print, you pay a small fee, and it helps with their charities if they have some. So it's like they'll have you pose in front of the table. And some of the ones I really happen to like, they recognize that you're people too, and they appreciate the fans. They'll come around to the front and get a picture with you, And so that kind of makes it really nice, especially with the kids, especially with the kids,
Well, the kids, they relate to that. They don't see you as, Dawn. They see you as, an ATST driver, or Bane. They recognize you as the character, and that's, to them, it's something different. So
yeah, you get both sides of the scale from kids and stuff. They'll recognize you and they'll be like, oh my gosh, like Bane. And they get some of them that's like, I really try to portray it up when I'm that character, like in shoots and stuff. And so I'll just get gritty, and they'll just kind of be scared because I've, got a mask on and stuff. And then you get older people, like I said, they don't relate him to being Batman, anything in Batman. Right. They would ask you, who you're with, and you have to explain it to them and stuff. And then they'll see the reaction of everyone else. Oh, look, it's Bane, for example. And then they'll just be like, oh, so apparently this costuming thing is more than just someone, just throwing something together, Kind of on this same thing as that is like sometimes people can buy their costumes Amazon all day long.
Right.
It's Halloween season. All day long, they can go out and grab something, be able to put it on and stuff. And any of the communities that Nerd Alert's with and helps out with, do it. Yeah. Come to some of the events. We can work, like with the 501st, we can work up your costumes to being approved, where some of the events you can go to and just represent what Lucasfilms and Disney has done for that fandom. Right.
Well, it was something like that. There's a huge, you got huge amount of leeway probably with that in a way, on character-wise.
Right. And then, since we added Marvel to the DC League when we started, after...
Thank you, by the way. For a couple of years, it was only Marvel. I'm like... or DC. I mean, sorry,
Right.
I pulled a Terry there.
Right.
But yeah, so, since we went that route,
Mockingbird.
yeah, we get like so many other characters that like they show up with 1 or 2 DCs and they got 4 or 5 Marvels, and so it's like it just worked out because like the hospital visits, whenever Nerd Alert sponsors like the DC Marvel League to go to any hospital visit, we allow princesses. You can be Pikachu, you can be Halo. There's certain rules the hospitals ask for. No weapons.
Right.
Some you can't have masks or stuff like that. So we respect that because we keep getting those same returns. Visits, and they require us to come out, and or not require, but they ask us to be able to come out, and it's just like those kids light their days up.
Now something like that. Say St. Francis wants you to come out, and they say, okay, well we don't want masks. So geez, like see who you had before that cosplays without mask, and say, hey, can you?
Yeah, because we have a main hub now since we added so many chapters as far as DC Marvel League, we'll be able to put an interest thread.
Okay.
10 people raise their hand. We turn around and we let them know, okay, can't have weapons. They request this, they request that. And so the numbers thin out a little bit.
Right.
Because a lot of times the way they do it, it's like it's on a Friday. A lot of us have real jobs.
Right.
Not me, but some other ones can be able to go. So it's like they don't go to work till 3 o'clock. So they go and, able to wear something and kind of go to that event. And it kind of, makes it real nice to still have a real good solid number each time.
So do you see a lot of your membership growing as far as, because I've noticed you guys' presence is branching out as far as con-wise. I mean, you guys are everywhere now as far as kind of Oklahoma area, some Kansas, Texas, stuff like that, Missouri, Arkansas.
Yeah, we just talked about doing Texas. And the way it kind of sets up is like we just show up as a name representation, DC Marvel League, and we've got members down there that are already fairly large costumers.
Right.
If they have one thing Marvel or DC, we kind of see if they want to get with other Marvel DC characters. If that happens, they do a meet and greet. Nerd Alert at the time will be fortunate enough to kind of have the grouping down there. We can be able to provide a table and a banner or something like that, so they'll show up at a con.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key points we like is be able to get people walking through the community see as a whole DC Marvel characters. Well, at that time, we just have flyers that say what charities we do, and they say what kind of meetups, hospital visits. We've got prints of all of our existing and then some previous characters that we sell for $5 a piece, and we're sitting out over $500 right now for Make-A-Wish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just off of doing that. We're going to do a big presentation in the middle of October to Make-A-Wish.
Oh, very cool.
And then kind of, turn in that money with a nice big check and be able to meet them and some of the kids. And then we're going to start again. St. Jude's we're starting with Oklahoma City and St. Jude's in November, since we started a chapter there.
Yeah.
And then Joplin, we've got Brad up there running Joplin, and Anita's going to be doing the Northeast Arkansas one also.
Okay.
So kind of some of the areas. And Eric knows Anita, she's one of the ladies that does the judging for Nerd Alert at all the cons for them for the costume contests.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, which I've noticed you guys have started doing more. You guys can help provide judges for cons. It seems more cons are adjusting to the times as far as, you've got more cons with more than just comic books. It's more media driven as far as there might be some special guests, there might be some cosplay, there might be video games, some trading cards like Magic or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And you guys can help provide judges or get people in contact with judges for the cosplay contest.
Right.
Now, do you know what they look for as far as with the contest?
Yeah, it's really neat because all the judges have won multiple contests themselves.
Okay.
A couple of the main requirements would be, how long did it take?
Mm-hmm.
Do your seams look good? Is your stuff well done? Like the coloring. What fabrics did you use? There's different stuff like EVA and Warbler. There's different Terraflex.
Okay.
There's all different kinds of things that are so new to, the cosplay community that these judges, they've won multiple contests using all these different ones for their stuff, and it's just really, really great.
Now, are more of them based on authentic representation or kind of your own spin or take on, a Master Chief from Halo? Or
Right. No, yeah, you get the grand spectrum. You get a lot of people that do stuff straight off of, like, comic books.
Okay.
Well, let's do Kitty Pryde this series, from Marvel. Let's do, this character, do that character, because with comics, you're going to have, there's how many Hulks?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, which version? The one before he died? The one after he came back the third time?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like that kind of helps out a lot. And then we do happen to have some characters that they try to do their own version.
Okay. So as far as on costuming, with your DC Marvel League, you yourself, you're into comic books as well. Since this is a comic book podcast.
Yes.
Are you more of a Marvel or more of a DC guy?
Or more of an independent?
More of an independent. Independents are coming strong on the scene.
Have you had anyone that's cosplay as any of the independent people? people?
We've had a couple.
You have any Rick from Walking Dead or Michonne's or?
Yes, we've had some, and that's what's nice. Is like you're not just like in our groups. They're not just those characters. They happen to like do others also.
I thought he was going to go with Robotech. Like, give me Rick Hunters. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Man, wait a minute.
No one knows of that.
There,
no one knows of that.
Well, that's what one thing is. Yeah. I'm old school comic books.
Okay.
You know, as far as choices.
So you're like Little Lulu.
No.
Jughead.
No. Let's advance 30 years. No, I like Dark Horse. I like when Predator and Batman were coming out. Mm-hmm. No, we're talking a time when I was 16, 17.
Right.
How old are you now?
Yeah, pretty much. But like those things were the ones my first ones to get my hands on.
Okay.
Because of the household I lived in at the time.
Right.
My brother would sneak them home.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I would take from him. So he always got the beat.
You just took his comic book stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't sneak anything else.
No, just that. So like those are the ones I kind of started with.
Okay.
So when I was able to,
and you liked them for the art, like your other magazines you liked for the art.
Right.
Wow.
Those are the ones I really kind of started getting in. So like, what's weird is like I like the old school stuff. You know, I like some of the earlier, you know, when Bishop came out with X-Men. You know, like those ones, Jubilee, and like I love the X-Men ones.
Right. Did you like the X-Men cartoon series?
Yes,
yes,
of course.
Yeah, the one
that was
awesome.
At the house right now.
The theme song you can never get out of your head.
No, yeah. But at the house right now, I've got the first original. No, Eric, I'm not going to sell it to you. But it's the Marvel Swimsuit Edition.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to sell it to you. But I've got that at the house.
Well, the pages. What's with that?
They're pressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had them pressed.
Yeah, we just jumped the rails.
About 96. I had them pressed.
Oh, brother. So do you besides Bane, do you go as any other DC or Marvel characters?
I'm going to be, this is the...
Superman?
No. I'm going to be debuting. I'm going to attempt to do the...
I have a character, but go ahead.
No. Who's your character?
Gwenpool.
That helps me remember.
Gwenpool.
No.
Scarlet Spider.
No. The Thing from...
The Thing would be cool.
Yeah.
Some of our artists are very good at... Yeah, some of our artists are really good at doing foam.
Did you pick up the latest issue? Oh, I forgot. No latest issue there.
I was gonna say, I think you can pull off a penguin.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Yeah, you can go.
Well, like, there was, like, Mark, one of our guys, Mark, does Kingpin extremely well.
Oh, he does. He does. I've seen his Kingpin outfit. That was cool.
Extremely well. And when he'd always done Star Wars, and when we had added Marvel to the group, he lost it. He's like, I'm going to do Kingpin. And sure enough, 3 months later, full suit, everything.
Yeah, he's got the cane and everything. It looks awesome. I've seen some of the photos you guys have done with him, and it looks pretty sweet.
The one that's kind of fun for the shop is like every once in a while, I'm not into the anime. I may get shot for this.
So that's okay.
That's okay. He hates Doctor Who.
I made a huge.
He doesn't like Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
I said the cosplaying Doctor Who's at the time because that's all you would see at the cons all the time was. And how many 10th Doctors can you see? How many 8? It's just you got tired of seeing so many Doctors. But yeah,
I like the Doctor Who.
I'm not knocking the show. I'll watch the show. It's just. But anyway, the anime. What were you saying?
Anime?
Oh yeah, they'll come and name off a character, and they'll name off the show from the character. I'm lost on both.
Yeah.
So I was like, bring pictures. Bring me pictures. And of course, it's a young lady with 2 pieces of armor on her shoulders, just barely cleavage covered, and then barely a lace something around her something.
Right.
And they're wanting to have that for the next con.
Yeah, anime is a little revealing on a lot of it. So
I'll stick to my Marvel swimsuit.
I'm not a big anime. So what other kind of stuff do you collect? And doing the costuming, doing Nerd Alert, being around the cons, has it made you more of a collector, or are you just so tired of it?
No, it's easily more of a collector because you're hanging out for days,
right?
With the guy that's a booth across from you that's got that one Y-wing that you missed out on in '83.
Yeah.
You're like, I can get this now.
One of the guys at the last con, Brad. He's our Joplin chapter leader. He brought a bunch of his Star Wars toys to sell. So I was like, since you're starting a chapter up there, I was like, how about let's trade? Nerd Alert will do you some shirts. You give me that B-Wing.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was kind of nice. It was a real nice.
Because you always had the B-Wing pilot, but you never had the B-Wing.
So I always had the A-Wing and the B. Yeah. I never had the B-Wing. So pilot or the ship. Yeah.
So did you like the new Star Wars Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Are you ready for Rogue One?
Yes.
Now you did stuff with Force Friday, didn't you?
Yes, last year and this year.
Okay.
For Rogue One, the premiere release. Last year was a hoot because it was.
Last year was a lot bigger.
Oh yeah, well they projected it to do that.
Okay.
And I'm a huge avid toy collector, and so last year it met my needs because I didn't go to sleep at all. We trooped 6 different places. I opened up Disney and opened up Hot Topic, so I was there no sleep.
Now, you
doing
guys
that.
did Think Geek stuff
Yes, we did.
also.
Yeah, we did that weekend before last, or Friday before last.
Well, I know you had some groups, or some of y'all saw y'all saw on the Facebook page shopping at 1201 for Star Wars toys. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we hit this year because it wasn't such a big release. Target shut down. Think Geek didn't put their stuff out to the next day. 2 other places didn't put their stuff out to the next day. Walmart's, most of them had just their basic stock stuff.
Well, I think I've noticed that when I was at Target Saturday night, or Saturday before I came to work, it's like they mixed all their stuff together. So it's not like, hey, this is all Rogue One and new stuff, and this is old stuff.
I noticed that the Walmart and Rogers is all mixed.
I did find a Rey.
Oh, did you?
Black Series figure.
Nice
Big one.
Oh, wow.
Number 2.
Yeah, I try to find like the ones that I lean towards the troopers and the robots.
Yeah.
Definitely not Finn because he's overdone. It's the same. It's kind of the same characters.
Right.
Yeah.
If they had him in his stormtrooper, with a bloody bucket on some of the ones.
They've done Kanan in the new line in the Stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah. They've got. Yeah, I'm real excited. It's like I'll hit those, which gives you an idea of what's supposed to be in the movies. But we all know that the audacity of last year. They had some great characters. We're excited to see them in the movie, and they got cut out. Yeah. So it's just like, makes it a little bit harder.
We've been a friend of mine been talking about the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels characters. Mm-hmm. They've got to show up soon in the movies.
Right.
And I think maybe you might see an older Sabine, I'm hoping, from Rebels, because she's like my favorite Rebels.
Okay. But you know what I've noticed, though, about your groups? You guys have done Think Geek. You do Toys R Us. You do the big hospitals, do big Make-A-Wish stuff. But also you guys do smaller stores, like you've done Impulse Creations, which is another comic book shop. So no matter if it's small or big, you guys are available.
Yeah, we did. We started out, we tried to do when we started, it was 3 people, myself, Andrew, and Ashley Parrish.
Okay.
I approached them. He is Tulsa's Dark Knight, Batman.
Right.
So I approached him. We were just started being friends, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a Bane, and they were like, well, that'd be kind of cool, and here we are now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just people meeting people.
Yeah.
Be able to do that, and it was kind of nice. And so we did that, and I was like, let's do just a general meet and greet at a photo shoot. We'll make up a photo shoot. This is before we had a table, basically barely a name at the time. Let's do a photo shoot. Tokyo and Tulsa. Massive amount of people showed up, and we took names and numbers. And then we did. We got invited to do Batman Day at Impulse.
Yeah.
And Dan and his wife up there were just, we showed up. Lots of characters. We just did our 3rd Batman Day there. Mm-hmm. So we keep going back, to that, honoring them. The Warren.
Yeah, you guys did the Suicide Squad for them.
The Warren has opened up their doors for us every time. Of course, with our Star Wars groups, we do all the new releases there.
Right.
And then Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, 4 straight days each time.
Right.
The DC Marvel League's out there. Showing Broken Arrow some love, showing, DC some love, and so it's really nice, to kind of get that invite and to go out there. And we're just there for the kids. We're there for, everybody else that's loving, this fandom like we do,
Which I've noticed, it's pretty cool with some of the members in the group that dress as certain characters. Profile-wise, they might not fit as far as size. They might be larger, they might be smaller. But
are you trying to say I can't cosplay as a Joker?
No, you can do the Joker. I'm saying that's what's the cool thing about their group.
Yes.
Is they're not like, that's a bad idea. I mean, you guys are very supportive.
Yeah, above.
It's all about just have fun.
Yeah.
We'll help you make you the best costume or best cosplay you can have. And size is not that an issue.
No, it's not. First and foremost, come as anybody.
Right.
If you happen to have something that's falling off of you, we can sew it better.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the color of fabric that you're wanting, we may have it. If not, we'll help you get it.
Okay.
And definitely we'll take, any members. Definitely it's, we try to have, depending on what event we're at, we try to have a really good showing to show support. We're going on our first 1-year anniversary with you guys at CollectorCon.
Yep.
You've taken care of us every time. You give us, the right amounts of love with the, staging for the photo shoots that we try to have you guys in also as a thank you. And it's just like, it's nice to be able to do a lead up 3 months, as much as you're coming, because we try to bring them out. It brings characters. And I know talking with all my people 2 weeks ago, when you were talking about possibly where we're going to be at for the next CollectorCon, everyone's buying product there. They're bringing friends and family there also. So that really kind of helps out, the community, people looking for stuff. So that makes it super nice all across the board.
Can we announce for the next CollectorCon? Is it
we can announce it. It's December 3rd. So that way it's perfect timing, last minute Christmas gifts. It's a ton of fun. All the cosplayers will be there. The costumers will be there. Nerd Alert's going to be there full steam. If you have, which Nerd Alert, I do you guys help out not only businesses, but individuals, where if I were to have a family reunion and I said, hey, man, I need 20 shirts printed up that said, the Eaton family reunion, you guys would do it. No problem.
Sure.
If you guys need stickers, you guys do the little decals for cars. You guys, and I've seen you guys around town. I mean, we've got you on our cars. You guys, it's basically one-stop shop. I mean, you've done our banners, our little stand-up flying banners, shirts, flyers, badges, lanyards, basically everything. You even give us high fives.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, the high five cost extra,
Right.
really, and that's usually after the deal's done and money's across the table. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. We like to definitely. One thing we do is like the first one. I think it was the second one, Eric. Was Nerd Alerts. We have local artists that do woodworking. They do wood burning. Like Jaro from Kazad's Custom Creations and stuff did foam, like really
he did
great
all the helmets.
foam armor from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so we've got 4 or 5 artists. So that way, when a con's set up, we get with Eric and his wife, and we kind of figure out the spacing and stuff, and we'll be definitely making sure that we have a good presence there for local artists, and it builds them up. Their first con they've never tried before, just to kind of get a feel for it, and just each time, somebody's walking out with one of the products from them. So we're able to kind of go to almost every other collector con and make sure that everything's going to represent the communities and stuff. So it makes it really nice.
Okay, and then people, if they want to join, like, let's say the 501st, or they want to join DC Marvel League, can they contact through Nerd Alert Customs on Facebook, or do they need to go to the DC Marvel page, the 501st page? And how would they contact you guys?
Yeah, well, as far as the 501st and stuff, the base around here in Tulsa is Tulsa Star Force.
Okay.
Chris Curtis is the leader and kind of heads that up.
Now, him and his wife both do costuming.
Massive amount.
Because she was a Wonder Woman once.
Yeah, they do Firefly, they do Wonder Woman, lots of Star Wars stuff, of course. And so he's one you'd kind of go through Tulsa Star Force if you're asking questions. That's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Nerd Alerts, you can talk with Ashley and myself or Andrew. We've got 5 or 6 admins.
Okay.
As far as our Tulsa chapter, but that would be DC Marvel League on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll kind of get anyone started, which way they want to go. And we've got, even with, Nerd Alert
with
Academy.
The DC Marvel League, is there any dues or sign-up fees, registration fees?
No, everything's free of charge as far as like wanting to join up. We have.
I mean, you guys don't even charge at your shop. I mean, bring your materials or pay for materials. Right, you're not going to give them whatever they want for free.
No. And it's being that it's open source on that. It's, hey, I'll post like a week out. Hey guys, I'm looking for more primer.
Mm-hmm.
So people will show up with 2 or 3 cans of primer. And it's definitely trade and barter. I love going old school with that.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy of mine that keeps leaving me toys at my front door, and he'll come in and I'm.
Well, now are they at least toys that you want?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a Raggedy Ann and Andy last week, and but
hey, Kelly.
He'll bring stuff over and like we'll trade for for work he's wanting done.
Okay.
So that kind of makes it nice, and it was just out of his own heart that he did that. Not anything that was. I'm still surprised, as much as he's done.
Right.
For us. Some people happen to stop through, like for example, this Saturday. You guys feel free to do a podcast over at the shop. This Saturday, we're having a big to-do. People are coming in from Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll probably, I've got one charity event that morning.
Now, do you guys work with the OKC Jedi?
I'm in, with them as far as family and stuff. But as far as like the academy, I know that there's some great shops down there that they kind of work. Kid Compton is one of the most profiling ones down there.
Right.
They do the superhero school.
Uh-huh.
And that's huge down there.
Yeah.
So they get together and go to the comic book shops and like.
I think New World does that.
Yeah, they're really wrapped up with New World down there. So they get quite a bit going on down there, but it makes it kind of nice. And then with the academy and stuff, if they have questions, they definitely kind of trade back and forth. If they got questions on where we got this material or that material. And then when we have events that hit us, as far as the DC League, we make sure to share them to the other groups also. So a lot of times if you happen to see us somewhere, you'll probably see someone from the Star Wars community also.
Okay, now, and then at cons, I know you guys are really good as far as putting prints out of your characters. All that goes back to charity, correct?
Yes.
So then make sure if they see you at a CollectorCon, if they see you at a Tokyo and Tulsa, if they see you at, you guys are at Geekonomicon. You guys are every con.
Almost every con.
Almost every con
you're going to be able to see us there at one of the tables and come around, get a picture with us.
Yeah.
Every con we do a photo shoot, DC Marvel, at 1:00. Lets everybody get a chance to walk around, grab a bite to eat, and then we do a big meet and greet 1:00. And then that's that.
And the good thing is it goes to charity.
Yes.
So that helps out.
Yes.
Most of it, I know you guys work with Make-A-Wish big time, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I noticed that you guys did too. Like at the last CollectorCon,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a really, really
20%
nice.
of our admission we do towards charities. So, and most of the time we try to pick a different charity on each one.
Right.
And then, like my older brother, he's worked with St. Jude's before and sent them a bunch of stuff. So we decided this one, Make-A-Wish, because you guys were tied in with Make-A-Wish, and they're a great group.
Yeah, we've got more coming. Like, what's nice, like on the league side, is almost each of the members has a charity that they currently do stuff with. So they'll get with their mom or dad or whatever, and then they'll post an event, and then there's 8 right there. People wanting to go to it, and it's just like we get so overwhelmed that we have sometimes 3 a weekend. Usually a Saturday, and then we maybe 1 or 2. But with everything coming up, I know that we're sitting tentatively on 4 shoes, coats, collecting.
Oh, okay,
or stuff like that. I'm going to be talking with. I did, excuse me. I did Ronald McDonald House year before last.
Right.
Did quite a bit with them as far as toy giving. And I'm really looking forward to try to do something downtown Tulsa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, an event to be able to collect up. Toys
like
for
a
tots.
Toys for Tots or something like that.
I would say, I mean, that would be something would definitely be good too.
Oh yeah. My wife and I talked about for a December show doing, if you bring in like an unwrapped gift, we'll waive the $5 admission, and so that way it'll go to Toys for Tots or some group that'll help children out. I mean, that's a big time of year for kids.
Well, also with coats and blankets. Also,
winter
coming, they're saying it could be the worst one we had. Lots of precipitation.
Right.
I think coats and hats would be great too.
Oh yeah, it's a really good idea. So I mean, because we all have extra coats that we haven't worn in 2-3 years, and they're just taking up space in your closet. Might as well give it to someone that's going to use it.
Except you threw all yours out, cost.
Right. Brother. But so to kind of recap, DC Marvel, if they're interested in joining, go to the DC Marvel. It's just DC Marvel League on Facebook. For Nerd Alert Customs, you guys can do anything that a business would require to put their names on, but also on a personal side, anything. I mean, if you guys want a refrigerator magnet that has a picture of your grandma, you can do it.
Right. Yeah, right now we're doing stickers for people in costume down in Texas.
Okay.
They will have on their own vehicles their actual character in their costume.
Okay.
And they're handing them out for charities also.
And that's Nerd Alert Customs on Facebook.
Yes.
And then the Academy or the shop, do you have a separate group for that, or they contact
Nerd Alert Academy?
Nerd Alert Academy. Okay, and that's, you said 3 times a week, 6 to 10. Tuesdays is Star Wars Day. Then you had which other days?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So MTWs.
Right.
6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Bring pizza or donuts or toys or pop.
Or supplies.
Or supplies. Primer.
Right.
Primer, anything. As an offering to the group to be open for the door to open up.
Right, pretty much.
You take toys too, even if you don't want to leave them at your doorstep.
Well, with it being free, we have all the tools there too.
Right.
So we've had people before that.
Oh yeah, you guys have all the sewing machines and everything, all the scissors, all that stuff.
Yes.
Well, I've seen some of the pictures of stuff, and I was just like, man, that's cool.
They're intense.
Yeah.
Don plays some 80s, the 80s nerds, Revenge of the Nerds music, and they're all running around the house and sweatbands on, and they're going crazy.
Yeah. Tube socks.
Yeah. He's a maniac. So, but no, it looks like it's a lot of fun. I've been over there, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of good people, a lot of good times.
Yeah.
And it's a weekly thing, and you don't have, if they miss a week, you're not going to kick them out or.
No, it's open. My door, and it should be a tagline, but my door literally is always open.
Okay.
If you happen to drive up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my front door is going to be open. I may be in the shop, but feel free to, come on in, make your way around, and just kind of, knock our heads a little bit, find out what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you happen to bring a comic book and there's a character in there, I'm pretty sure we could, work something together.
Oh, okay.
We do definitely, like with all the new people we've been adding, we definitely like to emphasize that, we do this for the charities and we do this for the kids.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of weed out people that are there for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we've got people that, 5-6 year veterans, they'll grab somebody that's never done anything before and teach them how to sew.
Right.
And teach people kind of, be able to do that. And even if you know how to sew or how to work on foam or anything like that, being able to come to the shop and hang out with people from different genres of the costuming community, It just really opens your eyes up.
Okay.
One of my artists, she had never really done anything but by herself. So she came over and was hanging out with Jedis, with ogres, with fairy princesses, and with Pikachu. Pikachu one night.
Okay.
Everyone was working on their own thing, but at the same time took time out for everybody else, to answer a question.
Very cool. Okay, so then those are some great spots. We've got our contest. We're going to have our guest host draw us a special name. Let's see, what prize are we going to give away, Captain?
I think we're going to give a graded 9.8 Star Wars #1.
Star Wars #1. Now that's the 2015 series.
2015 series.
The 2015 Star Wars #1, first print.
First print.
White cover, 9.8 CGC. If this is your name, come by Comic Empire, preferably Saturdays.
Next on the 15th.
Saturday the 15th. Let's see who the lucky winner. And this was for liking and sharing the page and then commenting the keyword.
Yes.
We've got Gary.
Gary
Malsby.
Malsby, yep. Gary Malsby, you are the lucky winner.
Congratulations, Gary.
Star Wars #1 CGC 9.8 is yours. We'll do this week's keyword. In honor of Don, we'll do Nerd Alert Customs. So make sure you like Comic Book Straight Talk, share the page or share the podcast, comment Nerd Alert Customs. While you're on Facebook, type in search bar Nerd Alert Customs, check out their page. You want a specialized Christmas gift for someone, contact them, they'll make it for you. Sticker, whatever you want. Check them out, they're a great group. All the groups they work with are really great. For Comic Book Straight Talk, I'm Eric the Knucklehead.
It's Captain Dalian.
Hashtag I'm Don.
Hashtag I'm Don. And we want to...
And next weekend, the French Tickler will be back.
The French Tickler will be back. He's incognito tonight.
He's helping Batman do a logo.
He's over in Gotham doing a logo for his best buddy Bat. So for Comic Book